Well, good morning, everybody. It's good to see everyone.
Yeah.
We have been doing these meditation and focusing classes since the week after Labor Day, and I've enjoyed them a great deal, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you all. It's a bright spot of my week. We have a new member today, Carol, who's zoomed in as Norman. Is it Gutmann or Gutmann, Carol? Could you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. You have to unmute, Carol. Lower left-hand corner of the Zoom.
Got it.
There we are. Hi,
Okay.
Carol. How do you,
Hi.
is your last name Gutman or
Gutman.
Gutman? Gutman. I
Gutman.
didn't get it right. I had two choices and didn't get it right. Gutman. Well, welcome, Carol. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And Helen, good morning. You're muted also. I don't know if you want to say hello or you don't have to, whatever. Okay. So unfortunately, early on in this process, I changed my operating system and I'm unable to share my screen. But there's a little background to what we're doing here, Carol. I don't know how familiar you are with the benefits of meditation and guided imagery, which is what we've been doing here. But this is scientifically based as a way to enhance our mental and emotional health and thereby also our physical health, because after all, we are body, mind, and spirit, and all three work together and interact. Back in this is the historical thing, and it only takes a few minutes, and it might be a review for everybody else, including myself. Back in the early prehistory days of the human species, we lived outdoors and were hunted. Yes, we hunted for food, but we were also hunted by large predators. And so during the evolutionary process, our brains developed a part of the brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is the source of the fight or flight syndrome, which means, for example, if right now the door were to open and instead of a kind person bringing lunch or bringing a cup of coffee or stopping in to visit, a tiger came in the room, we would have a tremendous psychological and physiological reaction. Our bodies would be flooded with hormones, including adrenaline. Our heart rates would increase, our blood pressure would go up because we would then be preparing to fight or flight. We would look around the room quickly and find something to use, perhaps as a weapon or a place to hide and protect ourselves. And that was beneficial. That all flows from this part of the brain called the amygdala, which is kind of right in the middle of the brain. And it reacts to what we see and what we feel. The amygdala still persists today. And when we get those vague feelings of uneasiness, anxiety, worry, sometimes it's the overactive amygdala that has survived since prehistoric times. Uh, it still serves a purpose. If we see a child step into the street, we can quickly respond, perhaps, and pull the child to safety. If we step off the curb and we notice that someone has turned the wrong way and we're liable to be hit by a car, we can still react. So it still serves a purpose. But when I personally walk around in a state of anxiety all the time, that is not good. And that is a function of the amygdala uh, that has developed in our brains. Neuroscientists have done studies on this and found that the amygdala can be calmed down. And one of the ways to calm it down is through meditative practices, focusing, uh, trying to empty the mind, doing practices that quiet the thinking and thereby soothe the amygdala. Two studies were done in the religious context. One of Catholic sisters who said the rosary over and over again. The rosary is a Christian prayer that's kind of like Eastern chanting, really. It's saying the same prayers over and over again. And the other study was of Buddhist monks who practiced Zen meditation. Two different theologies, two different religions, two different practices, but the practices had in common focus and calming. And studies of the brain waves of both the Catholic sisters and the Buddhist monks showed that the activity in the part of the brain activated by the amygdala was calmed down by these steady practices. So I've practiced a form of meditation that requires me to just focus on a word 20 minutes twice a day, and that has helped me with my anxiety. Other things we've done in the class are actual Zen meditation, which is focused on breathing. We had a little talk on walking meditation. But what the group has mainly liked has been guided imagery, where we imagine going to an interesting or relaxing scene, such as the beach, the woods, a hot spring in the north, uh, and using our imaginations, the senses in the imagination, our smell, taste, hearing, and sight. We go to another place, leave our worries behind, and just have a little respite from the daily cares and worries of the world. And right now we have a lot of that with the pandemic and more recently the political campaigns. And it makes people anxious. We haven't seen our families. Some of us haven't been to our places of worship. Our usual way that we relax is not here. So this is a timely period of history in which to revisit these meditative practices. So, have any questions, Carol?
No, I've done some guided meditation in the past,
Oh, good, good. And
so I think I know what you're talking about.
the concept of colloquially rewiring the brain is called neuroplasticity. And the encouraging thing for me at a certain age is that neuroplasticity is capable of being achieved at any age. It's not just for the developing brain, it's for the mature brain as well. And so I find that very helpful. I find anything helpful that helps me to keep growing in any way, spiritually, physically, or emotionally at this time of life. So we'll get started then. We usually start with a series of breathing exercises and some muscle relaxation exercises, and then we'll do our guided meditation. So I'm going to lead you through visualization into a relaxing scene that will hopefully let us leave our concerns aside for a while and give our minds, emotions, and bodies a rest. Guided imagery is a safe, effective means of relaxation that has been used by people for hundreds of years. Research shows that guided imagery can help ease pain and nausea, lower blood pressure and heart rate, improve sleep, and even boost the immune system. So first, we're going to practice a 3-stage breathing practice that we previously learned. We want to progressively move up from the stomach to the rib cage and to the lungs to inhale and exhale. The inhalation should be subjectively a count of 2. I'm not going to count for you. I'll say inhale and exhale, but it's your subjective 2 count on the inhale and 4 count on the exhale. So, some of you may have greater lung capacity than others. That's why I leave it subjective. And the idea is to remember to use this muscle that's below the lungs called the diaphragm to breathe in and then expand different parts of the respiratory system, beginning with the lower part using the diaphragm. Then we're going to go to the rib cage and then to the full upper lungs. So let's start with the belly and diaphragm. Inhale for a count of 2, then exhale for twice as long. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Now we want to try to expand the rib cage, which is just above that diaphragm muscle. Again, inhale for a count of 2 and exhale for 4. Ready? Inhale. And exhale. Now the full upper lungs, or the full lungs. Again, inhaling using the diaphragm, the muscle that's just below the rib cage. Our stomach should go out when we inhale. Robert, we're up to the breathing exercise of inhaling and expanding the full lungs using the diaphragm. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. Again, starting with the stomach. Inhale. Exhale. When we inhale, our stomachs should push out a little bit. And when we exhale, it should suck in a little bit. Now the rib cage. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Now the full lungs. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now let's go back down to the diaphragm. Did I lose place? One more time. We'll do the diaphragm, then the rib cage, then the full lungs. Ready? Down below. Inhale. Exhale. Now the rib cage. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, the full lungs. Inhale. And exhale. I'm starting to feel more relaxed. I hope you are too. Now we're going to go through a series of muscle contraction and relaxation exercises to further relax our bodies, and hopefully our minds and emotions will follow. We start at the bottom of the body with the toes and work to the top of the head. So we're going to hold these contractions for our own subjective 10 count and then release. So we'll start with the toes, scrunch up the toes and the muscles of the feet. And don't do it too hard that you get a cramp or it hurts. Just enough to contract and work the muscle. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now we want to contract and release the muscles of the lower leg, the shins in the front and the calves at the back of the leg, everything from the knee on down to the ankle. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now we're going to move to the upper leg between the knee and the hips. First, we're going to do the muscles on the top of the upper leg, the quadriceps. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now the muscles at the back of the upper leg, the hamstrings. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now the muscles above the hamstring that we're sitting on, that the yoga teachers call the sit bones or the gluteus maximus, we'll contract those. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now the stomach muscles. By contracting, we would suck our stomachs in, and relaxing, we'd allow the stomach to return to its normal position. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now the muscles of the chest, the ones we would feel if we put our fist into the palm of our hand at chest level and push. The pectoral muscles. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now let's get the muscles of our upper back. Contract those and relax those. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now we want to do the muscles of the neck. Ready? Contract. And relax. I should have mentioned this much earlier, but we don't hold our breath while we're contracting muscles. We continue to breathe normally. Now, we want to make funny faces and contract all the muscles of the face, and there are a lot of them. So let's contract the muscles of the face. Ready? Contract. And relax. Now we want to think about our scalps. Do we feel any tension, any pressure, any physical sensation at all in our scalps? If so, and it's caused by tension, we want to let go of that. Relax. Think of whatever is applying pressure to our scalps leaving, evaporating into thin air. Good. Hopefully everyone is feeling a lot more relaxed. I know I am. And now we're going to move into the guided imagery section of our session today. Let go of any remaining tensions. Let's start with one deep breath. Again, the purpose of this visualization is to provide you with a scene that completely absorbs your attention and distracts you away from your anxious thoughts and the physical feeling of anxiety. By imagining, I encourage you to use all your senses: touch, vision, hearing, smell, and taste. As you become part of the scene, you will deepen your state of relaxation and might notice changes in your body. Your muscles will become less tense, your heart rate will slow, and your breathing will deepen. In this scene today, we're going to do something different. We're going to go in a hot air balloon. I'm not going to provide all the details to allow you to fill them in with your imaginations. So get comfortable. Everyone's sitting hopefully in a supportive but comfortable chair. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Let go of any remaining tension as you feel yourself sinking into the chair and becoming still more comfortable and relaxed. Take another slow, deep breath and release your thoughts, letting them drift far away. Take another slow, deep breath and know that right now, for this period of time, all is well. Now bring your awareness into your chest and notice a softness there, a feeling of peace. Take a moment to enjoy this feeling as you quietly focus on your heart rate and follow your breath in and out. Perhaps cooler coming in through your nose and warmer going out. Now, imagine you're walking in a wide, open, grassy field out in the country, just after dawn on a crisp fall morning. It's quiet, and there's some early morning fog rising from the ground. As you walk along, you can feel the uneven ground beneath your feet. You're carrying on your back an old, worn-out canvas backpack. It's filled with all the worries that have been bothering you lately. You could enjoy this morning so much more if you could put those worries down, but you haven't felt ready to do it yet. So you continue walking on through the field. Soon you notice ahead of you a large round shape coming up out of the fog a little ways ahead. As you come closer, you can see that it has colors. It is striped from top to bottom. Then you recognize that it is a hot air balloon, just finishing the filling up process. You get closer. There is a round basket at the bottom of the balloon, which is attached to the ground by 4 thick, heavy ropes, which are staked into the ground on all sides. You notice a burner above the basket heating the balloon. You can hear the propane burner as one of the crew pulls on a cable and fires the heater to inflate the balloon. You can hear the swoosh of the gas and see a flash of flame. The balloon is made of multicolored sections of material arranged in strips running from top to bottom. It's quite a beautiful sight to behold. The colors contrast with the still pre-dawn lighting and fog. It looks much larger on the ground than others that you have seen in the air. You notice a brass plaque on the side of the basket, and as you take a closer look, you see in large script writing, "Come aboard, leave your worries behind." Now you know where to put your backpack full of worries. But better take a last look at them just to make sure. You pull the heavy, old, beaten up canvas backpack off your shoulders, one strap at a time. You're ready to leave all your worries behind and rise above them in the balloon. Take each worry out of the backpack one at a time. What do worries look like? Some might be like balls of yarn. Other like pieces of cloth. Still others might look like rocks. One looks like a piece of foam insulation. Another like an impossibly tangled length of twine. Some are even sticky. Others make an obnoxious rattling sound when you take them out of the backpack. What do your worries look like? What do your worries feel like? Do they make any kind of a sound? Do they have a scent? Take a few moments to do this for each and every worry as you take them out of the backpack and put them on the ground. Once you've gotten all of your worries out of the backpack and tossed them onto the grass below the balloon, toss the backpack in the grass also. You don't need it anymore. There is a portable footstool that leads up into the balloon basket. A guide is already in the basket. She motions you to come up the steps and go for a ride. She has an air of assurance, competence, and welcome. You know this will be a safe experience. What does she look like? How is she dressed? What color is her hair and how does she wear it? Does she wear a hat? Gloves? Boots or shoes? Or maybe she's barefoot. What does she look like in your mind's eye? You eagerly climb the steps and step down into the basket. There are steps also on the inside of the basket to help you enter it. There is a bench along the sides of the basket where you can sit. You calmly take a seat in the basket. The pilot or guide lets you pull the cable that fires up the burner. You pull on it and hear the swoosh of gas and see the flash of the flame. Soon the balloon is completely inflated and ready to go. It's pulling hard against the ropes that have it tethered to the ground and seems eager to take off. Another 4 ground crew members appear. Each goes to one of the 4 ropes at the bottom of the basket and detaches it from the anchors in the ground. They hold the ropes as the balloon slowly lifts up a little. They are very strong to keep it from shaking too much before all the ropes are detached. The balloon shakes a little, leaning a bit to one side in the gentle breeze. You're ready to go to say goodbye to your worries in this balloon. The 4 crew members, in full coordination, let go of the ropes, and the balloon begins to rise. As it ascends, you begin to feel freer. You are surprised at how slowly it rises. It is slower than an elevator, and certainly slower than an airplane. You do not feel any breeze because you are moving horizontally at the same speed as the wind. As it rises further, you can see your worries and the backpack in the grass. There's a light fog that still covers the ground. The trees in the meadow rise above the mist. You have a feeling that you remember from dreams in which you were flying. The balloon goes higher and higher. Things on the ground get smaller and smaller. You see the tops of trees and birds flying below. Hills poke through the ground fog. As you rise higher, you see country lanes lined by little houses. You also see a 4-lane divided highway with cars and trucks that look like toys. As the sun rises, the fog is lifting, and you see the sun shining off the windows on the cars and trucks. You are amazed at how much more you can see than you can in a jetliner as it takes off. Everything is almost in slow motion. You look below and see a flock of geese flying in a perfect V formation. You notice how sharp your focus is. You can see the wings flapping synchronously. As the sun gets higher and the fog evaporates, you notice the colors of the trees that are in their fall splendor. They are even more spectacular from above than they are from the ground. When all you can see from the ground, when up above, all you can see are leaves. Free of your worries, your focus seems sharper. Although you are far above, you can see individual leaves on the trees. You see people raking leaves and doing other chores in their yards. Parents and grandparents play with children in the playgrounds and yards. You notice the colors of the cars. Everything seems somehow orchestrated in wonderful harmony. You hear nothing but the occasional swoosh of propane and flash of the heater. You cross a river. It reflects the blue sky. You see small boats with gentle white wakes behind them and people fishing from the banks of the river. Cars and trucks stream across a few bridges. The balloon feels like it has descended a little, and your guide pulls on the cable to fire the burners. The balloon very gently rises. You float along, enjoying the scene. You let your imagination wander and let this scene present itself in your mind's eye. What do you see as you look over the side of the basket that is attached to the balloon? After a quiet time, your pilot asks if you are ready to descend. You agree. You have been sailing along for about an hour, but time seems suspended because of your hyper-attentiveness, focus, and calm. Your guide looks in the distance in the direction of travel. She points out a pasture beyond some woods that looks about a mile away. She says she will land the balloon there. She opens a vent in the balloon that allows a little of the warm air to gradually escape, and you slowly descend. You have total confidence in her ability as you float toward the pasture. The trees seem to be rising to meet the balloon, and you see some people in yards pointing and others waving. You wave back. Very slowly and gently, you float down into the pasture. As you draw near, your guide uses her cell phone and calls for ground assistance. Several vehicles pull into the pasture and 4 or 5 people are looking up at you as you descend. Excuse me. Very gently, you drop toward the pasture. Your guide expertly gives a tiny tug to the propane burner to slow your descent. The basket contacts the earth as gently as a leaf floats to the ground on a windless day. You are joyful and relaxed. The ground crew takes hold of the ropes and tethers them to the ground. Before accepting a ride back to your starting point, you ask for a few quiet moments for yourself. You walk slowly around the recently mowed pasture. You notice large, square bales of hay and their sweet, pungent smell. You notice the trees around the pasture and how you can still focus in on the individual leaves. You are grateful for this experience of leaving your worries behind. You get into a comfortable van with one of the ground crew who leaves you in silence to reflect on your experience and enjoy your feeling of well-being. She tells you it will be about an hour drive and tells you it is okay to nap if you want to. So you doze off. After a refreshing sleep, you awake at your starting point. Your old backpack and worries are gone. You get out of the van with renewed energy and a feeling of well-being, joy, and confidence. It's almost time to bring this inner journey to a close, but first, take a moment to thank yourself for giving yourself this gift of focus and deep relaxation. Whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes and feel awake, alert, and refreshed. We're now ready to return from our meditative break. Slowly move your fingers, your toes, maybe stretch your arms overhead. Take a deep breath and exhale for a longer time. Keep with you this feeling of calm and relaxation. Feeling ready to return to your day, caring for yourself, and to caring for others. Now we're ready to become fully alert, refreshed, and filled with energy. Well, how does everybody feel?
Good.
How about you, Helen?
I'm trying to unmute.
Oh, you are unmuted. We can hear you.
Oh, I feel good.
That's good
I
to
feel
hear.
relaxed.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Carol, how about you? What did you think of your first experience with us?
You have to unmute.
Unmute, please.
Okay.
There we are.
If I wasn't holding the phone in my hand, afraid I would drop it, I would have gotten a little more
Oh,
out of it.
yeah. Yeah.
But I thank you.
You what? I'm sorry.
And,
Say it again.
I was 20 minutes. I was relaxed, so I thank you.
That's very good. I'm happy to hear that.
Can't hear me.
Maybe even focusing on holding the phone is somehow meditative.
Yeah, I think I was.
One of the fruits of this, and I don't have it often, but occasionally, I think it's a benefit of these practices, is I actually just concentrate on one thing at a time. Like during these classes, I'm focused on this and not thinking about anything else, other than a little bit of anxiety that somebody's going to come in the room and disrupt everything. But that didn't happen. I don't have a private office here. At the other hospital I do, and I put a sign on the door. But other than that, I'm focused on this. So a benefit is to do one thing at a time, like holding the phone and doing nothing else but holding the phone.
Right. Unfortunately, my computer froze. I don't know why.
Oh, turn it off and on? That's the modern day equivalent of.
Well, I didn't want to play with it, so
Yeah.
the phone was my second option.
Oh, you're coming in loud and clear.
Good.
So one of the benefits is to be able to actually do one thing at a time. The idea of multitasking, I think, is a false idea. Multitasking really just means jumping from one thing to another, but we're still only doing one thing at a time, really. And I know there's exceptions. We can drive and talk on the hands-free in the car, but for that moment that we're speaking and listening, perhaps the brain is not paying attention to driving. But when I'm preparing breakfast and I'm focused, preparing breakfast can be a nice experience if all I'm doing is preparing breakfast and not thinking of a bunch of other things. So being in the moment is one of the benefits, and also it feeds upon itself, magnifies itself, and makes me more focused and calm and better able to take care of those I love. So that's one of the things that I enjoy by these practices. So what should we do next week?
Same thing.
Same thing? Okay. Be more specific. Where would you like to go in your imagination?
Skiing.
Skiing. Who said skiing? Helen, did you say skiing?
We went.
No, I didn't. Skiing is too fast.
Yeah, that relaxed. Well, it's focused. You better be focused when you're skiing, right? I heard an interview with Lindsey Vonn, who's the women's champ for the United
Right.
States nowadays. She wasn't any good at any other sports other than skiing. She tried everything else. She goes 85 miles an hour. And she said, falling at 85 miles an hour is like driving your car down the highway at 85, opening the door and rolling out. Can you imagine? She says you have to lay perfectly limp. So when you hit the fence, it doesn't hurt you.
Hey.
It seems like if you fell once, you wouldn't do it again. So she's probably mostly very focused, but also very brave. So what do you got there, Bob?
Bobby and me on skis.
It's not show it in the.
Wow, that's beautiful. What now? Where is that?
Mount Snow.
In Vermont,
That's cold up there.
long time ago.
Yeah, that's cold up there. I've only been cross-country skiing, never downhill. And in Vermont, at the Trapp Family Lodge. Do you know who the Trapp family is?
Yes.
Yes, but I didn't know they had a lodge in Vermont.
Yeah, they do. Climb every mountain. Right?
Sound of Music.
That's right. Yeah, that's where they settled after they escaped through Austria. Yeah, I've been cross-country skiing there, but it was awfully cold. I think I would prefer Colorado in the spring. I've been to Colorado in the spring, not skiing, but there's enough snow to ski, but it's 55 degrees. That's my preference, I think. So how about cross-country skiing?
That's good.
But it's less dangerous.
That's work.
Yeah. How about ski jumping? Have you ever seen that?
Not for me.
You haven't seen it? Have you ever seen
I've
it?
seen it,
person?
sure. Seen it.
Yeah, I
We've
used to
been
go.
We've been up in a hot air balloon, so
Oh,
that memory was, but I saw elephants and other, when I looked down.
you did it in Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Wow,
So
you've had a lot of great experiences, Bob and
it was a
Bob.
great, fantastic experience.
And together you've had them. We should have you write a guided meditation for us.
No, you do it beautifully.
I had to do a little research. Did I get the balloon accurately?
We look forward to this.
Perfectly accurate.
I did. I didn't understand how they landed. And then they actually have a little flap in the balloon that lets the
There are
hot air out.
men down there to catch it.
No, they land it by letting out some of the air.
The hot air,